Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our webinar, Building a Better Marketing Plan. We've got lots of great information for you today, so we hope that you enjoy it. If you do need to leave at any time, feel free, but we will be recording this, so we'll send it out to you later so you can either watch it again or watch it for the first time. So I'm going to introduce you to our speaker, Michelle Nunes-Vaz, in just a moment. We do have our marketing expert, digital marketing expert, Tom Stewart, joining us later from Trigger Digital. So we look forward to hearing what Tom's got to say. But first, welcome, Michelle. Thank you for your information this afternoon.
Thanks, Rhonda. So my name is Michelle Nunes-Vaz, and I'm the very proud accountant from Tax and Trust Professionals. We've been working for about 18 years trying to help clients grow better businesses, and marketing has become more and more important, and especially digital marketing. And so I think this webinar is really important for anybody who is in business together. And I've been very proud to be working with Tom from Trigger Digital over the last couple of years, and he's been coming in to me as a consultant and helping me with my Google and making sure that I'm maximizing the value of the marketing that I'm doing. So I really hope that you can get some key tips from him this afternoon. I just want to go into the core values of ours. So we really believe that we exist to help you grow your business and to grow a great business, to increase your net worth every year. That is our intent. We enjoy our work, and we enjoy helping, but when we see businesses grow, we don't enjoy it so much when we stay around the same thing. Our values include teamwork. So we work together to produce a beautiful service. Communication, we value respectful relationships. Kaizen, which is we want to keep learning and growing in our skills. We do what we say we're going to do, so we value integrity and diligence. And those are things that we work at every single day. The diligence is all about doing the very best job and working hard for you. So I am really passionate about small business owners getting more from their business. It's important to understand there's no magic bullet in businesses. And so I'm going to share some practical things that today I believe you can do to improve your business. This one seminar, of course, is not a substitute for hard work, working on your business and working in partnership with your accountant. So before I begin, I'd like you to consider what a better business would actually mean to you. Would it be more profit? Would it be more time? How would you balance your work and play if you were really happy with your business? What does your business need to deliver to you? Perhaps you're looking for less stress, or actually just really loving your job. Who wouldn't like that? So a better business, I believe, delivers on these three freedoms: that you've got the time that you need for your life to do the things you want to do, that you are not worried and stressed about your business, you feel content with the growth and what's happening in it. A level of content. We're never going to be completely content, because that drive for hunger of growth is important, and financially free, so that you've got enough money to pay the bills. Today, I'm going to take you through 7 steps that you can take to achieve better marketing in your business. As accountants, unfortunately, we are seeing a lot of clients not achieving these freedoms and working crazy long hours and getting burnt out and getting behind in their tax even. So that's why I'm here today. So I want to help you run a better business. And who else is going to be there to help you? Is it your lawyer? Your bank manager? They are too busy. Did you learn how to run a better business at school? So I believe accountants are in a really key space to help you run a better business. But how often do you spend time with your accountant to discuss the issues that you need to discuss to run a better business? I believe everybody in business needs independent support. That's what my business coach has taught me. So So I'm not going to teach you how to run the technical aspects of your business. Obviously, if you're a chef, then you're the best person to describe how to make a cake or cook meals. But I can help teach you the ingredients to help you understand your numbers and help the other areas of your business that make your business successful and work. One of the things we're going to concentrate on today is obviously marketing, and we'll get into that now. Oh, the agenda. So here's what we're going to cover. This marketing definition and terms, we're going to go through a few of those. We're going to talk about the 7 steps to a better marketing plan and success in that, the what and the why about marketing, how to implement the best practice, next steps and options for support going forward, and then it's accountability time for you to decide what you're going to do as a result of coming along to the session. So my commitment to you is that by the end, I'd like you to write down 3 things that you would like to do that will make you what you believe is a big difference to your business. It might be something I say, or it might be something that Tom says. I do encourage you to write them down. If you don't write them down, you're most likely going to forget it. And we do want you to get maximum value from this session. So if you've got questions or insights or comments that you want to share with the group, by all means, interrupt me, write a little note in the chat column or in the question and answer column, and make sure it happens. So I can make this slide even more interesting for you, or the slideshow. So first of all, I'd like to go through some marketing terms with you. And I'd like to imagine that we're in a computer shop, and we are upstairs and we sell computers. So if you've got that picture in mind and you're looking at growing the number of customers that buy from you in your computer shop, it's helpful to know terms before we even begin the marketing story. So a suspect is somebody who is in the target market. So in the computer field, that would be everybody in the surrounding area, and with online, that might be, you know, within the surrounding city, who is interested in computers but has not yet purchased one or hasn't purchased from you. When you move from the suspect into a lead, when you actually respond to something, so you might have responded to an advertisement and you have looked at the website and you've responded through that way, or you might have walked up the shop and seen the stairs and walked upstairs because you were attracted by a sign at the bottom. So you've responded to marketing in some way, then you become a lead. A prospect is somebody that has an opportunity to buy. So it's somebody who's moved towards a purchase. So perhaps you're checking out 2 or 3 different computers and you're asking some questions and you're actually getting prices. That becomes a prospect. A likely customer is somebody who has now narrowed it down to perhaps 1 or 2 choices and says, perhaps I would like to take this home. Now, depending on the business, if you're retail, that's really all you can do. But if you're in the service-based business, you would by then have usually collected their email address or phone number, and you can follow them up. Likely customer is somebody, a customer is somebody who makes a single purchase. A loyal customer is somebody who comes back to that shop again and again and makes repeat purchases. And as far as computer goes, I seem to be a loyal customer to 2 computer shops, and I do go back to the same 2 shops depending on what I need, because I've received good, helpful service from those shops in the past. And a raving advocate is somebody who is so impressed by your service that they talk about it with others. And it's really nice to have a raving fan in your client base. It's an enjoyable work. It's enjoyable working with them, and they do usually refer really good quality leads. And when a raving fan talks about you, you almost miss that suspect stage and go straight into the lead because they've got some level of trust, because they trust that lead. So that kind of increases the funnel. So the marketing plan is really about that lead generation. How do we increase the leads coming in to make them from suspects into leads and into prospects that they can actually have an opportunity to purchase? How can we make that better so we can convert more customers and grow our businesses? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So firstly, what exactly do you need to earn from your business to break even, to live comfortably, and to live really well? There might be 3 different numbers that you need to write down and work out with your budget what you really need. Don't worry about how you're going to do that yet, just write down the numbers. Now, if you were earning enough to choose your customers, who would you choose to work with? Have you defined your target market? Do you have a clear and compelling sentence to attract those clients to you? It needs to be something you've memorized so you can say it confidently and with a degree of certainty that attracts others that you're speaking to. It's going to vary a little because that's what happens when you've memorized a statement. This month, I was contacted by a person that I spoke with at least 12 months ago. We had a 5-minute conversation at a networking event. I used my clear and compelling statement for her organisation, which was in my target market. I never followed her up, but she did get my business card. She emailed me this month and said she thought a lot about what I'd said and she wanted to work more with me. So I've now sent her a proposal and I'm pretty sure based upon our phone call that it will be signed. An example of using that compelling statement. You just never know when it will trigger something in somebody and they will think about it. And sometimes they'll think a long time. So it's really worth crafting your unique selling position tuned towards your target market. And I think Tom's going to speak a bit more about that when he talks about tuning your website to say your unique selling point. Along with get clear about exactly what you want. What holidays do you want to have? Be so specific so the image is implanted in your mind. Where do you want to go? Write it down, block out your calendar and make it happen. That's what you want your business to serve you, not you serve the business. Okay, the next, this particular slide talks about the marketing flywheel. I could talk a long time about this slide, so I'm just going to briefly discuss it. So the marketing flywheel talks about prospects, customers, promoters, strangers. So we're aiming to attract strangers, turn them into prospects, then they become customers, and then promoters is like that raving fan thing I said before. So you attract, engage, and delight. The idea of attraction is you must provide value before you extract value. So you provide something valuable to the prospective purchaser before they buy, and for every person that thing that of value might be slightly different. I had a conversation today with a new client who said to me, I asked her at the end of the meeting, have I provided any value to you today? And she said, oh, I'm just so pleased that I'm not dealing with my tax. So value to her was she just wanted to just offload that job to somebody else and be done with it. Whereas value to somebody else might be giving them a tax solution to a very difficult problem. So value is always going to be depending upon what the customer wants, and it will change, and so will your offer. So the idea with the flywheel is that you want it to spin as faster and faster and faster. So new customers are coming in, being engaged and delighted, and then they attract other clients. So just like what I said before, the funnel works, so does the flywheel. You want the marketing of your business to be constant and consistent, and all the time, constant and consistent, because when it's all the time and constant and consistent, you don't know who's going to be attracted. You never know that. And so you're just putting out this constant, consistent message slowly. For us, it's like email marketing, and it's like running these educational workshops, hoping that somebody will see it and somebody will really think, I would like to work with that person. So that's the intent behind. The step 2 of the 7 steps, how many new things does a 5-year-old child learn in a day? How enthusiastic do they embrace that world of possibility and the desire to learn and improve? How easily does she give up? Not too easily, usually. And as grown-ups, we often forget that 5-year-old mindset and close our minds to new learning. So my second advice to you on this marketing journey is continue to take advantage of new learning and new opportunities. Top 5 ways to learn more. Resist the urge to hang out on your phone. Enroll in more courses and workshops, and I'm talking to the converted because you're listening here today. Read more, recreational and business books. Spend 10 to 20 minutes every day reading. It's going to help you sleep better if you do it at night. Keep a journal of your learnings. I've been doing that for years, and I really do find that as I write, I listen better. And I can revisit those notes later and turn off your TV and perhaps listen to some educational podcasts. Keep growing, keep learning. All of that information is going to help you run your business better. So that might be an action for you. I'm not moving, my slides aren't moving. I wonder why not. Just a moment. Right, here we go. My most important advice is to get out of your comfort zone, because that's not where you're going to grow. And to run a better business, you've got to do things a little bit differently. I recently read a new book entitled Smart Growth. It's I'll put it up there. I could do a whole presentation just on that book, but it describes how all new opportunities that we take up, we start up with a launch pad, and then over time and lots of practice, we go up a curve, an S curve. Lots of practice. It's a bit like a mountain until you master that new learning, and then it becomes effortless. However, you can't stay at the top of the mountain, otherwise you stagnate and go backwards. It's important to take a new challenge on, start at the bottom and start the cycle on. And we do that right throughout our life. And, from when we go to university, we started, then we went up and then we mastered, or maybe it was learning a trade, or maybe it was learning to swim or learning to do a hobby. So you start at the bottom, you're launching it, and you're exploring new opportunities, and with curiosity you grow, and obviously with a business it's the same S curve. So it's really cool that you're listening to this webinar about marketing. Now perhaps it's something new to you, or perhaps you've started on that curve and you've done heaps of it already and you're just open to learning new distinctions, and well done you if that's the case. The first 2 steps were getting clear on exactly what you want and then being open to change and learning. And the step 3 is about defining where you are now, warts and all, which is often overlooked. Do you know your own marketing numbers? Do you know the amount you're spending? Do you know a budget? How many leads are being attracted to you by the spending you're doing? How's your conversion process? How many clients are you retaining, and what is that percentage? How much does the average client spend, and how often do they spend it? The current level of activity that is generating the sales numbers and returns you're achieving. So it's not just about the numbers themselves. How many leads did you generate this month? How many proposals are being written and accepted? What is your average sales value? How many networking events are you running or going to each month? If you know your numbers, you're able to measure them and improve on them. What extent has your team been brought into the plan, and they know about the marketing plan and the culture and the core purpose of your organization? Now, without your team on board, a study on employee engagement shows that only 30% of employees in a company were actively engaged and 52% were disengaged. So studies definitely show that employees that are engaged in the business significantly outperform in revenue and in profit to those without engagement. So we need to perhaps do some work with you defining the appropriateness of what you're measuring and what you are reporting on, and who you're even going to report to help measure your improvements. So it's good to set targets, but if you can't measure those targets, then you can't improve them. And I like myself to have somebody to report to. And that is why I said at the beginning that I have asked Tom previously to come in, and he sits with us and I report what I've been doing to him, because I tend to, if I don't have somebody to report, even as CEO of my own business, I don't do the reporting. So it's really nice to have somebody to report to. You need to know what your biggest vulnerabilities are. Is it the poor systems? Is it a high value team member who's thinking of leaving? Do you have cash flow strains or a weak balance sheet so you can't pay your creditors or your tax on time? So before you go to a new direction, you've got to know where you are. It's a bit like a roadmap. So don't forget this step. It's really important. You might want to just take a quick photo of that slide if you didn't write down all the things that I said earlier. So step 4. First step, get clear on what you want. Step 2, open to change. Step 3, know where you are, what's and all, where you are. Now your next step, make a clear plan. Now remembering that the business is there to serve you. You don't want to be a slave to your business. So you have to work on how many hours you want to work and how much money you need to earn. And then we can go through that and see how many sales you have to make to earn that income. To do that, you might need a little bit of knowledge of help on how to form a budget, but a budget should be part of your plan. And if you need 100,000 per year to live, and you know your overheads are currently 100,000, then suddenly you know you need to earn 200,000 in sales. If you have a gross profit margin of 50% because you have labour costs to consider, or you have stock costs to consider, then your annual sales need to be 400,000, which is about 8,700 per week if you plan to work 46 weeks per year. That's your current situation. If you can improve your margin by 2% to 52%, you only need to make 8,300 in sales every week. So we help clients improve their profit margin. I'll be talking about that with a service that we offer a bit later on. So here's some rules for creating a solid plan. We do a marketing plan on 1 page or 2 sides. We have no more than 4 main goals for the year. And then we cascade the goals into 90-day goals, identifying each action that we need to take before we report back. And for me, it's a quarter. So we try and do a quarterly plan and then report back once a quarter. We share the plan with the team, especially the team that are working on it with you, if there are, and keep it visible. And as I mentioned before, review your plan quarterly with somebody independent to hold you to account. Remember, a dream becomes a goal when it's written down and broken into steps. It becomes a plan, and a plan by action makes it a reality. That's by Greg Reid. So a marketing plan is your how-to. How are you going to achieve that lifestyle? That's what you're working on, the marketing plan, because you want enough leads to come through to give your business a real good go. Here's an example of a marketing plan that I've done for another business. You can see we had a purpose statement, target market. We looked about the products that they sold. We did their unique selling points, the positioning and the promotion strategy. Then we looked at the branding and the advertising, and then we had some marketing goals, KPIs and activities. So that marketing plan that I did with that client was for 1 year, and it took us just over 2 hours to do. Oh, excuse me a minute, sorry, cancel. The next slide I want to talk about is the Ansoff matrix. So this talks about how easy it is to grow your business. The easiest, lowest risk way of growing your business is to increase sales to your existing clients. They already know you and trust you. So if you can increase your services to your existing client, that's a low risk way of growing your business, and it's a lot less costly. The second way of growing your business is to develop new products for existing markets and adding value to the existing products, develop entirely new products. So I'd just like to take a personal example of this for our business. So we have a lot of clients that we do trust tax returns for, and sometimes the tax department does a bit of job in changing the rules, and they've done a lot of that with trust recently. And so we've developed a new service this year for our existing trust clients, giving them a trust review. In fact, we're making it compulsory because the changes to the trust tax return are so big that we need to review all the information that we hold on a trust before we file the next year's tax return. So that's an example of a new product development to existing clients. The third example is an existing product, such as my trust tax returns, sold to new markets. So that might be if I decided to move more online or go to a different location in New Zealand, I could target more trust clients, and that's a development project because it may involve some extra costs, so it's medium risk. And the highest risk is new products, such as my new trust tax return, sold to new markets. I don't think I would follow that. I would probably find that more expensive. I'd have to do a lot of advertising, and I would have to do a lot of promotion for that particular growth area. So for you, you can think about what your business, and you can think how can you penetrate your existing market more? How can you develop new products to serve that existing market? Or is it time to find new markets with new products? So I just find that very helpful framework for identifying for you what your business growth and marketing opportunities are. Step 5 is all about accountability. There's only one way to ensure that the actions you commit to get done, and that's giving somebody the nagging rights to follow you up. And that's what I've said before to you. I really believe in accountability, and the best people to hold you to account are not usually your partners, because they understand your pressures. They're not going to give you a hard time. 5, so who's the best person to hold you to account? Again, you do want a reasonably hard coach rather than somebody who's going to be too soft on you. Somebody who'll give you some backbone, hold you to account, and dish out consequences for you to act better. So you want somebody who's got heart, that wants to understand the goal and care about the goal that you want to achieve. And so you need to think carefully about who's going to be your accountability coach for your marketing goals. And step 6 is all about monitoring your progress. So when you're driving, there are 3 things you need to look at on your dashboard: your speed, your fuel level, and your engine temperature. So it should be the same in your business. What are the 3 to 5 most important KPIs for you to keep an eye on? And how do you decide which is the most important in your business? And how do you calculate them? So I suggest you use this 4-step process to create your own dashboard. You need to understand what KPIs have the greatest influence on your ability to achieve your goals. For a professional firm like ours, it's the average hourly rate invoiced. For a contracting firm, it might be a gross margin for a job. For a retailer or cafe owner, it's the average transaction value for the day. So we're discussing where you are right now, warts and all, and working out the current level of activity that's generating those sales. And you need to know those KPIs. And then you want to trial a new marketing initiative, and then measure again how that's had an impact on your business. We suggest you where we set up a simple one-page report, and we can produce that perhaps on a 3-monthly basis and track your record against those KPIs. When we do that kind of work, we do business planning, but it's also part of the marketing plan. Okay, the last step is really something you should focus on all of the time. So we want you to focus on yourself and what you love. Just as an airline team will tell you to put the oxygen mask on yourself before you assist others, you needed to look after yourself as well. So there are things that fill your well of happiness. They restore energy and resilience levels. They help you face the challenges of your business. And my suggestion to you is to carve out that time as like sacrosanct, even if clients want you at that time, you're not available. It might be swimming, for me it is, reading, it might be mountain biking, it might be heading to movies or walking the tracks, meeting with friends for coffee. Most likely, they're not the things that you're not having enough time for right now. Of course, if you have the time, and you'll have just as many hours in your day as everyone else does, but you're choosing not to spend the time on those activities. So make a list of activities that make you happy, the things that you're putting off because you don't have time, and make a commitment to spend at least 1 hour per day doing the things that you've listed. Share that commitment to the person you've asked in step 7 to hold you to account, and keep a log of every time you do these activities in your journal until they become an ingrained habit. So let's summarize these 7 steps to building a better marketing plan. Firstly, getting clear on exactly what you want. Be open to change and new learning. Define where you are, warts and all. Make a marketing plan. Get somebody independent to hold you to account, and monitor your progress. Lastly, keep your well of happiness full. We can help you develop a 1-page marketing plan, and this is step 4 in building that better marketing strategy. And we can help you gain absolute clarity about what you want from your business, to set 4 SMART goals for the year, and to identify the 90-day goals and actions required to achieve this. We can also develop a cash flow forecast for you, so you understand the expected cash in and out of your business, and monitor and maintain that cash flow on a monthly basis, so you're tracking towards your goals. And we can help you get somebody else to hold you to accountable to achieving your goals, providing the independent accountability. And quarterly coaching we find is a great option. With the marketing plan, we have a 2-hour option if you've done a business plan with us previously and you've done some of those core purpose and target market work, or a 4-hour action if you've never done any of that with us. Finally, we have complimentary reviews for every client that we work with every year, and we have proactive accounting meetings, is what we call those meetings that we work with new clients and help them achieve their goals. So whatever you need, remember that it's likely you're going to need to stretch out and get out of that comfort zone and do something different. Okay, so I think at this point I'm going to stop the slides, and now we've got Tom. Hi, Tom.
G'day, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, so I have a little digital company called Trigger. I've probably got 20 years plus in the industry, digital industry. Worked for a large agency that we helped grow from 7 staff to 45 before this. And then mid-COVID, we jumped out and started our own company, focusing around looking after small business owners, consulting, one-on-ones, workshops, websites, digital marketing. Really love looking after owner-operators because they tend to really appreciate being helped. And today I just want to run through, I do a workshop, and I want to run through some of the key things that can help you as a business owner take some time to actually look at your website. So a lot of people build a website, then they get on with running their business and the website becomes kind of second place. It just becomes something that was done and it's out there and it's done its thing and we're done and dusted. Now let's get on with running the show and looking after the customers and servicing all these clients that are coming in the door and supply and whatever else you've got going on. But so my workshop's more about, as a business owner, taking some time out and actually having a look at your brand online, having a look at what your website's doing, having a look at how you're performing online, because that's really, in today's world, your window to the world, and how, when people do find you, what's their first impression? What's that few seconds that you have for them to find you and either keep looking or leave and find your competition that's going to convert them or potentially get them to ring you or contact you or have a look at your products or your services and then go, okay, yeah, I want to deal with these people. These are the ones I'm looking for. I'm just going to pull up my worksheet. Hold on a minute. All right, so the first thing we're going to run through is what we call a UX audit. And a UX audit is a user experience audit. And this is something you can do on your own website. And basically what it is, it's a review of your website from an ideal client's perspective. So if you are selling shoes to females, you've got a specific kind of shoe and your ideal market is 65 plus because they're orthopedics and they're designed for older people, so that then for their walking, then you would know that your ideal market is someone who's 50 to 65 or 75. They've got disposable income. They might have some health issues or they're concerned about health issues. So, and if they come, so then you'd know that this is the ideal audience that I want. Taking on the persona of that ideal audience, let's have a look at my website and see if I come to this website, does it A, tell you what I'm doing? Does it B, communicate to them in the right voice? Does it C, make it really simple for them to find me? And D, is it easy for them to actually find the things they're looking for on my website? And in this case, it would be shoes. So how fast is the look to click? So you can do your own SEO audit, your own website audit. And it basically identifies what's not working for you, what is working for you, and what things are keeping you away from the right results. And the things to think about are who are the key clients and what they want from the website, how easy it is to find the product and service, how many clicks to book or buy, and are the images perfect? So in today's world, people are very savvy online. Older generations, anyone is very savvy online. We've had years and years and years of great websites, and all the major websites are getting more and more savvy. TradeMe, Booking.com, all these big sites that people use are constantly evolving themselves to be this ideal user experience. So in other words, they're building and optimizing themselves around the user experience. So people become really used to a good website and what they like. So it's really important that you take some time out, have a look at your website and look at it from a client's perspective. Is it easy for them to use and understand and find out what your brand is and buy into you? And it's really important to sit back and take 20 minutes, maybe once a month or once every 2 months or every 3 months, and have a look at your website from the viewpoint of where is my business at right now and who are the clients that I want. So that's probably the first point. Make those notes down and either get your web guy or someone in your team or whoever's looking, or you probably, to make those website changes. The next thing is, part of that is what I call your USP, which is your unique selling point. And in today's world, especially, we're bombarded with ads on social media, ads on Google, ads on Instagram, even TikTok. There's ads bombarding you all the time. And those ads are usually specific around what you're looking for, what your searches are, what you like, which means that often people have been bombarded before they found you. If they're, for example, if they start searching online or thinking, I need my house renovated, or I'm looking for a new bathroom, or where can I find a good landscape designer? So then what happens is Google knows that you've done that, and they'll be getting bombarded with ads from all the big companies that are paying for ads, will start bombarding them. So it's important that if they happen to find your website, like they might search landscape designer in Glen Eden, landscape designer in Te Awamutu South, landscape designer in Clevedon, wherever they look, it's important that if they find you, that you have a unique selling point. In other words, what makes you stand out from the crowd? What is your unique selling point? Why would they buy into your business? What's the reason? It might be that you're a local family, you're a New Zealand company, you've been around for 25 years, and you've been servicing the area for that long. It might be that you offer a one of a kind product that isn't available with anyone else in New Zealand. It might be that you can be at their house if they ring you in within 24 hours, or whatever your unique selling point is. It needs to be, you need to figure out, you need to write down what your unique selling point is. Then you need to go and review your website and find out, does your website tell a story that showcases your unique selling point? So can people buy into what you offer, or what your services, or what your unique point of difference is? Why would they buy into it? And then, does your content in your website make sense to your potential clients, and can they follow your train of thought? I don't know, there's probably I don't know about you, but if there's 1,000 generic websites out there that are just pumped out, they might be template websites, the content's put up there, there's nothing about you, your team, what drove you, what ethos is behind your business, what your business goals are, what your clients are selling about you, that whole communication about why would you buy into this business. I recently, well, not recently, probably a year ago, saw a story about a young couple who'd set up a honey business, and what they do is they basically harvest honey from farms, and they put hives out, and they're doing it all organically, and they're trying to be sustainable. And so then I went online, I think they're called the Hunt and Gatherer Bee Company, and they're in Raglan. I went online, I went to their website, instantly it told the story about how they, basically the trials and tribulations of them setting up, why they created the business, what their whole story was. I thought, okay, well, I believe in that. So I bought some honey, and then I bought some more honey, and we liked them so much, and they were so good at the interaction from that point that we then used them for all our website gifts. We send out our clients, like when a client goes live with a new website, we generally send them a pot of honey, a wooden spoon, and something else, but it's from this company. So their website was so really good at selling what their unique selling point was that we bought into it. And it's the same thing that applies to anything, from being a plumber to a builder to selling shoes to having a takeaway shop. It's what's your unique selling point? What's your point of difference? And if your website isn't saying anything about your story, there's no real buy-in. You're just another website. So it's really important in today's world, especially, that people do buy into a story. They'll want to believe in you and use you as a client. So that kind of ties in with the user experience as well. Now, there's a lot of things I'm going to bombard you with. So Michelle has these notes, so she'll get them to you if you need them, because I'll cover all this so that you don't get lost, because I fire a lot at you. I don't think we have live chat, but that's okay. If you've got any questions, Michelle will also give you my email address, and you can fire them to me afterwards, because there is a lot of information, but these are the kind of basics that I cover because I think they're important. The next one is, and I'm sure you've all got it, is Google My Business. So Google My Business is a free tool from Google. It's like a little mini website that's attached to Google Maps. You've all seen it when you type in, I'm looking for the best cafe or great coffee in Glen Innes, for example. And up will come Google Maps, and up beside that will come a list of cafes, and will give you their ratings and reviews and all sorts of stuff. That's Google My Business. So Google My Business is a really simple way of optimizing yourself, attaching your website to it, and allowing yourself to come high on search without you having to do all the optimization of your own website. Because generally what Google is doing now is putting Google Maps and Google My Business listings first on every search. Eventually they will turn it into a paid service, but I think it will be for major players who are getting a lot of business out of it. It'll probably be generated on how many clicks you're getting, but they're not doing that right now, because the ideal of Google is they want to be top of search and making the money out of it. So your Google My Business is a free listing right now, and you can add images, you can add updates, you can add releases, you can add specials, you can put in all the information about your business, lots of images, you can add your logo, your times of opening and closing. You can do all sorts of stuff. Now, a Google My Business listing doesn't automatically rise to the top just because you've got it there. It's based on, like anything else in Google, Google ranks your listing on how much you're actually interacting with it and how other people are interacting with it. So it means gathering reviews, responding to reviews. It means you updating content, adding updates, adding images, updating images. It means doing posts and update posts. So posts on Google My Business generally last about 9 days, 9 to 12 days, and then they disappear. So every couple of weeks you could do a new post, maybe about a new product, maybe about a great service you delivered to someone, maybe about a project you completed, maybe about a special you've got on, maybe about a new rep or a new guy that you've got that can service a different area. And what this does is you will get stats from Google on a little report that says 75 people have liked your image and you've had 12 click-throughs to your website. So really, Google My Business is a really simple way of optimizing yourself. And by adding and by editing and adding and updating and working on your Google My Business, if you keep it going and you work on your reviews and all of that, you'll generally start coming up the ranking of, say, if someone's typing in chimney sweeps in Epsom, there might be 40 chimney sweeps, but if you're the one working your account and you've got lots of reviews, and it'll slowly start ticking up so that when it'll come higher and higher and higher on Google Maps for that search of chimney sweeps in Epsom, you'll end up coming higher and higher and higher. So it's all about getting into your Google My Business and optimizing it, because A, it's cheap, it's free, and it's a great way of getting profile, getting direct traffic and driving that traffic to your website. So really go and have a look at your Google My Business. Even type in your own business on Google search and go and see what you look like. How are your images? Are they really good, or are they kind of crappy and out of focus and they don't really represent your brand? How does your logo look? Is it out of focus? Is it low res? That means low resolution. Is it kind of out of focus and look grungy? And have you responded to your reviews? Is all of your information correct? And there's a little ability on Google My Business where it says ask a question, and that means other people can actually ask you a question like, are you open on weekends? Do you service this area? There might be a lot of, even if you get friends and family to write questions and you respond to that, that's still another way of optimizing your Google My Business. So any interaction and any movement with that Google My Business account, it's going to help optimize it and bring you up that Google Maps search. So it's a really easy way. I know you're all busy. I know you've got tons on, but it's a really effective and cheap way to get yourself marketing. Okay, that's Google My Business. The next one is Google Analytics. Now, a lot of you might know what Google Analytics is. Generally, I've been doing this for a long time, many workshops over the years, but these are all the basics that I still think when you're busy in your business and you're out there forward facing, these are the things that get slipped or forgotten, or maybe you're not even sure of them. So Google Analytics is a free tool that Google provides that when you get a new website built, or when your website was built, if it was done right, you should have set up Google Analytics, and your web guy puts the code of analytics into your website. And what that does is it basically feeds the information on all the visitors to your website, where they're from, how long, how many pages, what they like, what they didn't like, how old they are, where in the world they're from, all of that sort of information, where you're losing them from, the funnels on your website, which page lost them, which page they like. And it stores all that information in what's called Google Analytics. So Google Analytics is a really fantastic way of being able to see, is my website working or not? You might think you're getting lots of leads, but if you actually go to your Google Analytics, it might say that most of your website traffic is coming from your social media posts, and then they're arriving at the website, and that the website's actually not attracting any traffic at all. Or it might say that you've got 1,000 visitors last month and 998 of those left after the first page. So then you'd instantly know there's something really wrong with my homepage, because they're all leaving. And sometimes it's good to get either maybe a web guy or someone who's digital, who understands analytics, to just do a little bit of a preview of it with you and sit down and go, this is what it all means. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Purely from the fact that it's a free tool, and if your website's your marketing face, which it is online for most of you, then is it performing or not? There's such things, I can run into all the specifics. So you have an audience and you have an overview. Google Analytics has just updated itself, but there's still fantastic tools in there. There's still a lot of information about what's going on. And I highly, highly, highly recommend that if you've got a website, you've probably got Google Analytics. So it's a matter of finding it, getting in there. Even if you go online and go to Google Analytics, type it into Google, they have a little academy which will teach you about how to use Google Analytics. And again, it's a free tool, and it's like the life pulse of your website. So you know what's going on, and you know what's going on with your website visitors, which really, some of you will be doing social media marketing, some of you will be doing Google Ads, some of you doing print media, some will be doing social media posts, some are on Instagram. You've got a whole bunch of stuff where you're flowing your business out. Well, it's good to go to your website and see, wow, look, I've got 45 click-throughs on referral traffic from my Instagram posts last month. So then you know that your posts are working. Or I've got 75 coming through from Facebook. So you can actually see that your social media is getting results and driving traffic to your website. And then you can measure, well, what's that traffic doing on my website? And is it converting or is it leaving? So they're a really good, really, really good tool. Cool. Now, search engine optimization. Now, search engine optimization is big word that's used by a lot of companies to baffle people out of lots of money. And I don't mean that sarcastically, but I've worked in digital agency, and it's not all smoke and mirrors, but there's a really good question about the value of social media, search engine optimization over direct marketing. In other words, like using Google Ads or Facebook marketing or Instagram marketing or LinkedIn marketing, whatever you're using. So it's about, do you work on your website and its content so it slowly comes up the ranking, or do you pay to be at the top? You can actually do some things yourself to optimize your own website if you have the time. There's a free system on, you can actually check online with, there's a tool called Think with Google, Test My Site. So it's a free tool from Google. You can actually type in the website URL or the actual www.joesfish.co.nz and put your URL in there, and it'll tell you how fast your website's loading and whether it's good on mobile or not. They reckon for every half a second, you're losing 30% of your website visitors. So it's like the longer your website takes to load on a mobile, you're losing clients all over the place. So it's a matter of, you can run it through that tool. There's a free tool from the UK that is really good. It's they spent years and years creating it. It's called Screaming Frog. You can download it for free into your computer, and you can run your own website through this tool, and it'll tell you how you're performing SEO wise, and tell you what the issues are and what page is wrong and where there are issues on pages. And you can actually go and start repairing some of this stuff yourself. I like to think of doing search engine optimization or SEO alongside any marketing that you're doing, because the marketing isn't going to improve the ranking of your website. The marketing itself is an independent arm that's pushing you up into Google, pushing you up into Facebook, pushing you up into Instagram. It's pushing you into people's feeds and faces that are relevant or like your kind of product or whatever services. And it's actually not changing any SEO to your website. In some ways, it can alter the SEO of your website, because generally a lot of traffic that's gathered or gained to your website from social media often leaves quite quickly, because social media is all about the dream phase. It's inspirational marketing rather than intentional marketing, because you've got lots of people thinking, oh, I wouldn't mind doing up my kitchen, and they float around, and then they might see something you put up there about kitchen design, and they click on it and come to your website and go, oh, maybe not yet, and they leave. So sometimes Google looks at that traffic and thinks that's a little bit negative, that these people are coming and leaving quite quickly. So I think that it's good to do some SEO on your website. It's really good to do your intentional marketing and to do your, so social media, sorry, I'll cut back on a little bit of that. Social media, Instagram is all inspirational marketing. Google Ads is more intentional marketing, because Google Ads can be specific about, I want people who are looking for plumbers in West Auckland and are over the age of 30 to click on my ads. And you can be specific on your Google Ads to the audience you want. So it's more intentional. You're putting your ads in front of those people that you want to see it. Whereas Instagram, Facebook, all the social media platforms, they just put you into the feed of people who kind of have an interest in what you're doing, but it's nothing certain. It's a bit more inspiring them to maybe have a look at your social media and then click through to your website. So that's the difference between intentional and inspirational marketing. So back to SEO. So you can do a lot yourself with SEO. One of the ways, a really easy way to optimize your website is to have a blog and write a blog once a month, 600 words, write it about your topic, about what your business is about the things that your business is about. If you're a lawyer, it might be about new laws on trusts. It might be about the ID cracking down on whatever it is, or changes in the legal laws. So you can, and it's usually about 600 words, add a couple of images, put it on your website once every month, because Google loves a flow of fresh content into your website. And that's going to help you organically come up the rankings slowly. SEO is slow burn because it takes time. It's not something that you pay someone to do it once and boom, I should be number one. And that's probably the most often thing I get is when I get a new client, they go, well, I want a website that's going to take me to number one on Google. And I usually go, good luck. I'm not the person for you, and I don't think anyone is. Because no one can promise anymore that you're going to be number one on Google, because it just doesn't happen overnight. It can happen if you've got deep pockets. And obviously, if you've got a really successful large business where you've got cash flow to burn, then you can spend money on SEO every month, and you can spend money on Google Ads and social media marketing every month. And all together, they're going to keep driving the traffic and work on the organic ranking of your website. But other than that, I think there's things you can do, small things that will update your own website. I'll send these notes through again, and you can have a look at that Screaming Frog. And if you download it, it's pretty easy to understand. So yeah, but I like the idea of being able to do it yourself, or even find a company that can do search engine optimization on an affordable level, even if it's a couple of hours every couple of months, because SEO is not one of those things, again, that you can do once and that you can just say, okay, well, here you go, we're done. I've done my SEO and it's finished. Because SEO is something that a website will always have issues. It's just the way it is. So what happens is, like you all have phone operating systems update, you have software updates, you have your browser updates, you have security level updates. Everything is updating all the time online. So what happens is a website that might have been built 2 years ago is going to keep breaking on all sorts of SEO, search engine optimization issues, just purely for the nature of the web being evolving so quickly. So that's why it's good to have someone in the background who maybe once a month does 3 hours on your website, should run it through all the filters and all the checks, and then repair maybe the top 10 vital issues that are actually affecting your load speed, your traffic, and how your website is ranking. Because if you don't do any SEO, your website's never going to really do a lot. It's probably just going to sit there, and other people are going to be working on their website. So they're going to keep coming above you and above you and above you, and you drop down search, and then you rely more and more and more on marketing. Especially if your business is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, then you have a long time of traction online. And that's why it's important over those years and every few months to add some content to your website. I recommend every month, but obviously you're busy, so it might be every 1, 2, or 3 or 4 months. So yeah, whatever you can do on your own SEO, I highly recommend it. Blogs are fantastic for your website. They're not about getting people to read a blog or follow you or anything else. It's more about impressing Google these days. And it's all about writing relevant content about what you offer. I'm going to go a bit sideline on that and talk about Google Ads. So some of you have probably got Google Ads running, and I've had this question a lot when I've worked with Michelle before on workshops. People are concerned about, they're not sure whether their Google Ads are performing or not. They know they're spending X amount of dollars per month. It's usually $400, $600, $800,000 a month, and they've been with the same company for a few years, but they're really not sure what the reports mean. They're really not sure what they're spending their money on. but they're a bit too afraid to do anything about it because they think the leads might freeze up. Well, my advice with that is either get someone else to pay for another company to have a look at your Google Ads. It might not be a lot of money, but pay for someone to have a look at your Google Ads and give you a review and the good, the bad, and the ugly so that you can actually see what's going on. Or go back to the team that are working with you currently and say, okay, I want a face-to-face and I want to understand what's going on and I want to know what my conversion rate is. Because every Google ad should be set up to track conversions. And if it's not, then you're kind of blowing your money into the wind. So on a website, so in your Google Analytics, which we talked about before, which is that free tool on your website, you can set up your Google ads so that Google Analytics will track conversions. And you might say a conversion is a phone call, a conversion is an inquiry form filled out, a conversion is a download of this PDF document on a specific product we have. But then, so then if you've set up your conversions, you can see at the month that you had 14 people click on the phone call, you had 17 inquiry forms filled out, and you had 28 downloads of my product brochure. So you can see that you spent X amount of dollars, and you know that you've had all those people converting with you, and you know that out of those conversions, you'll convert maybe 35% of them, or maybe 45 or 55% of it. You are, and you know their average spend, and you can say, okay, my spend on my marketing has been worth it this time. And whoever you're dealing with, and whatever marketing company you're dealing with, should be able to set that up for you. And if they haven't, then that's a bit of a slap on their wrist because they should have. And it means that whatever money you're throwing at somebody, you can actually see what that's bringing into the business. As I said before, there's a lot of information on all of this, but this is all about what makes a great website, because it's all about your look and feel, how users use you, clarifying and communicating your unique selling point or your point of difference. It's about optimizing your website. It's about looking after your Google My Business. It's about that whole look and feel of your website and your brand online. And that's one thing about all this really, is that it's your brand online. This is how people are going to see you. And in the first 4 to 6 seconds, make a decision about your brand. So it really, you need to be ruthless about how do I look online? What are my images like? What are people seeing? Even Google yourself, Google your business, and just see what comes up. And if you're not happy with it all, change it. Make sure that your brand is there and your brand is consistent, especially with the thousands of websites that are online right now. So there's a whole bunch of information here. I'll send it through. Michelle's already got the sheet, so she can forward it to you all, and obviously you've got questions. My end nugget is that if there's anyone who's doing email marketing, and some of you may be, and this kind of goes against the grain, but I've been doing this a long time, and we all get emails and we all get spam, and we all usually send them, we always usually delete them or read one line and go, okay, that's boring and I don't have time. So I recommend if you're going to send out a newsletter, you send it out when you have something useful to say. Don't just fill it with bland stuff because you have to meet it by Tuesday of the first month and it has to go out per my marketing plan. Unfortunately, that's totally devoid. That's totally separating yourself from your clients. Your clients believe in you and your business, and they've obviously decided to sign up for a newsletter because they want to know about you. Well, why don't you tell them when you've got something really good to tell them rather than just filling their lives full of stuff? So my advice would be, when you've got some real news, get it together and send out a great newsletter. Even if it's once every 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 3 months, they'd appreciate that far more than just regurgitating stuff. And before you send out your newsletter, there's a free tool online where you can actually put the subject line of your newsletter into it, and it will tell you what percentage, what's the chance of that being put into someone's spam filter before it even gets to be read by them. And you can actually adjust and alter the newsletter title so that more people will, it'll go into more people's inboxes rather than their spam folder. And that again is in my list of information that Michelle has that she will forward to you all. I think I probably bombarded them with a lot of stuff, Michelle.
Thanks, Tom. It was just brilliant, and I've heard that information a few times, but it always still rings true with me. You know, it's the little things that we that whole thing about doing a great website, spending thousands on it, and then just leaving it, like not updating it regularly, not looking at it, not looking at the images, certainly no product offers or anything like that. So sharing that information was really helpful. So that's it, guys. That's our webinar for today, and thank you very much for tuning in. Remember, you need to write down some steps, some action points from something I said or something that Tom said, something that's going to add value to your business and to do it.
Yeah.
If you want any of the information that Tom has shared in the notes and the websites, then please come back to me and I can recommend Tom to you or give you the notes that he's talked about. So thanks again, everybody. Have a good evening. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.